What's up, Totem Pole Nation? Welcome back to First or Last. We are recapping the Cookout 400 at Martinsville today. William Byron got his third win of the year. Chevy got their fifth. Hendrick continues their dominant run this year so far. That is their fourth win as the team. They finished 1, 2, 3 on their 40th anniversary race. There's a lot to talk about from this race. We'll go over how the grid finished. We'll go over who impressed us, who disappointed us, get into some general details about the race and how it finished. Before we do all that, make sure to visit totempolenation.com for some gear. Our socials are scrolling below if you have any ideas about what we should talk about next, or if you just want to drop us a follow. And as always, like, comment, subscribe. Shout out to Sideline Sports Nation or Network. Let's get into this right now. M2K, what's up?
What up? All right, so results from the Cookout 400 in Martinsville. First and second, obviously, you already talked about Hendrick was top three today. So you got William Byron and Kyle Larson making up the first two spots.
Yeah, Chase Elliott, the third of the consecutive Hendrick cars, finishing in third. And then Bubba Wallace, after a great start in second, finishes in the top five in fourth.
Fifth and sixth, two Penske cars with Ryan Blaney and Joey Logano.
Tyler Reddick continues his good season with another top 10. This one a seventh place finish. Alex Bowman, the fourth car of that Hendrick group, still a top 10, finishes eighth.
All right, then two Stewart Haas cars round out your top 10 with Ryan Preece, who had a very strong run. I'll get into a little bit more about him later, and Chase Briscoe in 10th.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin, who on the green-white checkered, or when the caution came out, was in fourth, decided to pit. We'll get into that later. Trust me, I've got a lot to say. Finishes 11th. Another Toyota and Eric Jones. Kind of a bright spot for this season so far for Legacy. He finishes 12th.
Yep, 13th and 14th, you got Todd Gilliland with Front Row Motorsports, and Ross Chastain, the old Hell Melon, finished 14th.
Yeah, Chris Buescher, after starting 30th, moved his way up to 15th. And outside of there, in 16th, Kyle Busch. Nothing to talk about really all day with him. Another big name outside of the top 15, Martin Truex Jr. He was the points leader going into this race, started fourth, and kind of just drifted back throughout the day. He was competitive at certain points, and then, things just didn't really come together for him.
Yeah, but after him, you have Todd Gibbs, who started 15th and never really figured out how to get inside the top 10 most of the day. Other big names, Suarez in 22nd, Cedric, my other Silver Spoon favorite, in 23rd. Josh Berry, after a strong qualifying effort and really good runs in the first two stages, come home 25th. He was also 2 laps down. And then my favorite driver to talk about, of all people, the 3 of Austin Dillon. In the preview, I said he would finish 32nd, 3 laps down. Well, he got me. He finished 34th, 3 laps down. So still a terrible run. New crew chief didn't help him at all. He still sucks. And so glad his grandpa owns the team, or he would not be driving in the Cup Series. And then Christopher Bell in 35th.
Yeah, brother, he'd be driving taxis, so I don't know about driving in the Cup Series. Christopher Bell, I don't know what happened to him today, but it just did not go his way. We do know what happened to John Hunter. He wasn't running great by any means, like kind of middle of the pack type of car all day, but his right front brake caught on fire. The tire burst. And, as soon as they got that car into the garage area, not even all the way to the garage area, just out of the way off of the pits on the truck, the flames just started going. So tough break for him. I was talking about it in the preview that I had kind of been a little disappointed with the inconsistency of his year so far. And today did not help at all. Now, granted, not all his fault, but even if he did finish, it still would have been middle of the pack, nothing to write home about or anything like that.
Yeah, for sure. Impressive for me. I'm going with the 41 of Ryan Preece. Yes, I get it, guys. I'm a Stewart-Haas fan. It happens from time to time. But I will say this, Ryan Preece is a short track guy. He normally runs well on short tracks, and Martinsville is probably one of his favorites. But he started 22nd. He didn't have a great qualifying effort and come home inside the top 10. Stewart-Haas, obviously, with 2 inside the top 10. It's not the 2 I thought it was going to be, but it's still 2 cars inside the top 10. So hopefully, maybe Stewart-Haas has figured something out. They're still going to Chevy, and Junior's still buying in. If you missed that video, I had a hot take on that earlier in the series.
Yeah, man, my impressive driver of the day is going to be Bubba Wallace. Now, he qualified great. This is his 3rd top 5 of the year. His best finish in 4th. He's had 2 other 5th-place finishes this year, the first 2 races of the season, actually. But we saw him, shaky finish at Richmond. He had to go apologize to Kyle Larson. Coda, he finished 15th after he was at the back basically the entire first half of that race. Bristol, 29th. Phoenix, 16th. Vegas, 35th. He just had a string of poor finishes in a row. So to see him get his 3rd top 5 of the year, get the car back going the right direction, definitely impressive to me. And especially in a year, I think we've talked about it before during the season, not so much make it or break it, because I don't think he's like on the hot seat per se. But I do think that it's getting closer to the point of like, all right, Bubba, like we got to start putting some good results on the track, or we're going to have to start thinking about the future for both the team and you, what you're going to be doing next. I don't think that's a hot take by any means. So to see him, get going the right direction, definitely impressive.
Yep. I agree with that too. Like, the big thing with Bubba is it's time to produce now. You've had your woes and you've been in bad equipment. Like, I get it. So now it's time to produce, and he seems to be doing that. It just seems to be somewhat sporadic at times, but still great run for Bubba. Disappointed for me, it was the guy I was excited to watch during the preview video, and the guy I was probably most excited for to see him. This is his type of track, his style of racing. But the 4 of Josh Berry, I'm not exactly sure what happened. I wish I could figure it out. But he was inside the top 10, qualified great, ran inside the top 10 all day, and then something happened that caused him to go to the back. Not sure if it was a pit road issue or something he done on the track. But kind of disappointing day to come home in 25th after that great starting position.
Absolutely. Similar, Martin Truex Jr. Talked about it a couple minutes ago. Started 4th, ended up 18th. Now, coming into the race, he was the leader in points. He'll take a slight dip, but he still had a great year so far, right? I'm not disappointed for one down week from a championship contender. That's not what I'm saying. What I am disappointed with is that last week we saw him throw a temper tantrum after, he thought he got used up. So first off, he thought Denny jumped the restart, which I think the general consensus is he definitely got rolling a little early, right? Definitely got rolling a little early. Say what you want about that, all right? That's not the point. The point is after that jump, he then thought that Denny kind of used up his lane going into turn 1, forced him up a little bit further up the track, and he didn't like the way that Denny used him up on the restart coming out of turn 1 and 2, right? Kyle brought that up. Denny brought it up on the podcast. If he didn't like the way he was raced, fine, whatever. That's short track racing, okay? And it's also Denny Hamlin at his home track. So if you don't think you're going to get raced aggressive coming into the finish, I don't know what you're looking for. And then he takes it out on Kyle Larson during the ending and after the ending, and then catches back up to Denny to then go bump him a bunch of times too, showing his displeasure. It was a crybaby move. I was texting multiple people about it, like, wow, this guy is just acting like a child right now. Like, I get it, you lost. Even Kevin Harvick was like, know why he's upset, but like, what is he doing? And I feel like you backing that up on another short track, one that Truex is like pretty good at historically, maybe not the most amount of wins on the track, but he always runs well. To see him back up that tantrum last week with a terrible performance here, which with a good car. I mean, you don't qualify in the top 5 without a good car. So it's not like he came in there expecting to not run well. He just didn't back up that behavior from last week. So I was definitely disappointed in that. What's up, Bryson?
Yeah, I mean, so that's just because you were talking about Martinsville historically, right? So he's ran 36 races in Martinsville. He's had 10 top 5s and 16 top 10s in 36 races with an average finish of 15th. So he is really good at Martinsville and didn't back it up after throwing his little temper tantrum last week like a freaking
And that includes as well like those years where he wasn't by any means in like good situations when it came to equipment and the teams he was with. And he was still viewed as one of the better drivers in the league, right? In the Cup Series. So there's no excuse now. Like that average finish is taking into account all those terrible cars and stuff when it came to how they were going to be able to set it up. So I don't know what happened today. Bryson, day's going all right. I made a little bit of money on South Carolina today, beating Iowa. Didn't make any money in the Martinsville race, but that's okay.
I mean, day is fantastic. South Carolina won the women's title, which awesome for me. I'm a South Carolina fan, so great day for me there. I won my fantasy league in NASCAR, so another really good situation. And then I got my butt whooped in golf. That's the only bad thing that happened today.
Dude, you're always gonna get your butt whooped in golf by the course at least.
Yeah,
so
man.
As long as you're out there on the course, it's a good day. So here is another little disappointing thing, and it's not going to be – I thought it was a bigger deal for Martin just because of last week and everything like that. But Denny finishing 11th. I want to mention a little bit on that. Bryson wants UConn to win the men's league. Yeah, I've got a little wager on them as well.
Purdue.
Yeah, we'll see, man. This might be the year. Finally for them. All right, Denny Hamlin. When this flag came out, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, when the flag came out, he was in 4th. And the pit strategy, as reported by the commentators, was we're going to do the opposite of whatever the Hendrick cars do. Now, like we talked about before we started recording, I have to believe that the thought was if they pit early, those top 6 cars are going to come in later as they're still cleaning up the track, and he'll get like a 2-position boost or whatever, or just take the lead flat out. That clearly didn't happen. He pit, fell back to like 15th, 16th. Other cars pit. He gets up to 10th, ends up finishing the race 11th. Now, no surprise there that he couldn't make – I don't care about how fresh your tires are. You're now 10th. You're 5 rows back on a half-mile track where you can't pass. Like, it's not like the corners are super active every single time. It takes like 2 laps to pass somebody if you have a similar car, which, like we talked about it in the preview today, all the cars are pretty much similar. It is completely a skill-based thing, and if you're 5 rows back with 2 laps to work, that's you don't have enough time, point blank, period. I don't care how fresh the tires are, just not enough time. So I'm sure that was a group decision between the crew chief and Denny. I'm not going to put it on one person or the other because, at this point, Denny's career, he's not just taking blind orders. He's going to have his own input on the situation as well. So it's on both of them for sure. But damn, if that wasn't a mismanagement or just a misread of the situation. I don't know another way to describe it.
Yeah, and I mean, Gabe Hart's been an historically good crew chief too. Like, I don't know, I don't get that move at that point in the race. Now, 10 laps to go, 15 laps to go, maybe okay, I make that decision. Because I mean, there was only 13 guys on the lead lap at the time anyway, or 14 guys. So, okay, if I'm the only one that pits, I restart 14th. I got 15 laps. Like, let's go make a run at this with fresh tires. But with 2 to go, I'm not. No way I'm giving up that track position for fresh tires.
Yeah,
No way
at
I
all.
did is if like I'm gonna run out of gas going down the backstretch on the last lap. Like that's the only way I'm pitting.
Right, and even then, like that's like a lot of teams would probably run that risk. Like, all right, dude, push this thing. Let's hope we can make it. We've seen teams make that risk in the past.
The worst you're gonna finish is 14th.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And what's the difference between 14th and 11th?
Exactly. And it's to your point, like if there's like 10 laps to go, like that's what I'm talking about. You have time to put those tires to use. You'll see the difference in tires that are brand new versus tires that are 60 laps old or whatever it is. Like you'll see that on a 10-lap run. You don't have any time to see it on a 2-lap run on a half-mile track. And so I'll say it again. I just think it was a complete misread of that situation. Even if there was 5 laps to go, maybe, but like a green, white, checkered, I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it.
No way, not at that track, knowing how hard it is to get around people. I mean, once those 3 Hendrick cars didn't pit, I'm not pitting. No. I'm going to stay out with them.
No shot.
And try to pass them and then get to the lead and ruin this 40th anniversary thing. I mean, congrats to Hendrick, but still, like I'm trying to win. Like I'm not going to pit.
And it's not like he had an inferior car by any means. He was battling with Chase, Kyle, and Will all race. The 3 of them, like those 4 guys were mainly those ones that were trading off up front, battling each other. So I'll say it 1,000 times. It just doesn't make any sense.
No, it still don't. I got to figure out what happened to Barry though. Like, I don't know. It's gonna confuse me until I figure it out. But I will figure it out at some point.
All right, brother. You got anything else on the recap?
No, man. I mean, I said it a while ago, but congrats to Hendrick, 40th anniversary. 3-car, obviously 1, 2, 3 finish. As far as I'm aware, that's the first time ever at Martinsville. So good for him. Obviously, they have the most wins at Martinsville as a team. By far, it's not even close.
Well, Jeff has 9 by himself. So
Jimmy has 9 too. So that's 18 of the 28.
Yeah, that's wild.
Congrats to them. Congrats to Byron. Win number 3 on the year. We'll see what happens in Texas next week. Maybe Silver Spoon can figure it out.
We'll see. You guys know that we'll be the ones that cover that, positive or negative, every time. We love shining the light on the good old silver spoons in the sport. Well, Totem Pole Nation, this is first or last. This is the Martinsville Cookout 400 recap. William Byron getting his 3rd win of the year. Tune in next Saturday or Sunday. We'll get to the preview of Texas after qualifying and practice. As always, if you have anything you guys want to talk about, our socials are scrolling below. Hit us up there. You can hit us up on the Totem Pole social as well. TotemPoleNation.com is where you get your gear to support the boys. And Sideline Sports Network, always got to shout them out. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Catch you later. Peace.